six string today. Vintage wood, shiny frets, strumming blues while the sun fades. All these guitars can't help myself. Why can't I quit this ever-growing need? Oh man, goddamn, bought another six string today. Vintage wood, shiny frets, strumming blues while the sun fades. All these guitars can't help myself. Why can't I quit this ever-growing need? Sneaking inside.
Hi there, my name's Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is Monday, June the 3rd. Hope you're well. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Let's get this out of the way straight away. I have changed my hair a little bit. I had a haircut and I decided not to stick it up. I'm not going to stick it up anymore. Well, maybe for a while. I don't know. I don't know if the reactions have been mixed. So we'll see how long this lasts. Maybe not very long. But anyway, let me say hi to our friends that are here. Back to back, first in the chat. How you doing? Good to see you here. Rosanna, our moderator, thank you so much. Good evening, and everyone in Aaron and everyone in the chat in Cornwall, UK. Nick Johnson says happy Monday, and Poo Ninja says hope everyone's having a great day. So, as always, let me know if you've got any questions. Let me know if you've got any questions or anything interesting happened to you this week. Let us know in the chat and we can discuss it. And I will do the same and we'll see how we go. Poo Ninja knows the microphone. Yeah, I'm trying not to give them free. They wouldn't send me a mic, so I'm trying not to give them free exposure by showing the microphone. But that didn't work. I'm half kidding. I'm half kidding. Although sometimes I do choose to put the mic out of the frame. I don't know if it looks better. Do you think it looks better with the microphone in the frame so you can see that I'm clearly live and doing a live stream? Or is it better to have the microphone down here and angled up? Let me try it. There was one week I did this and had it down lower, but angled up like this. And then I took it out of the frame like this. I'm just going to do it quickly because I can listen back later and see. So this is the microphone out of the frame. So it's just my face. And then make sure I don't break anything. This is the microphone more in the frame. So you just see the top of it. I could still go higher, I guess. Okay, that's semi in the frame. And then bring it up really high. I've messed it up now. Yeah, it does correct for the distance, but it's still better to have it close to your face. You know, at the end of the day, if you sit with them, if you sit up to the microphone close, it's going to sound better. So I think I've got a feeling actually that where it was at the start of the stream is probably the best, like that. And I should probably be even closer. I can move the arm closer on the desk and make that straight. So yeah, I don't know. And then some people put it up here at an angle as well. They say that it gets less noise when you're talking like that. So I really don't know the best place to put it. But it is pretty cool. And it does sound better than the headset. It'll be interesting today as well because the planes are flying. So it'll be interesting to see if the plane noise gets picked up. But I think I definitely want to bring the arm closer so I can sit back about here and still have it close. Because even though it has this very cool Aura technology built in, it's still nice to have, it's still best to sit close to it. of course. All right, let me know what you think. Today's pretty casual. I did just see that Fender released an update for the Tone Master Pro, which I might talk about. I don't have one, but it's always good to see when companies release new firmware and stuff for their products, and they have they've delivered. The Quad Cortex update is pending, should be out soon, and the Tone Master Pro update is out. So it's interesting. For what seems very slow in the world of like Line 6 and Kemper, we do have these new updates for the Fender Tone Master Pro, and the Quad Cortex one is coming. What's so interesting about the Fender update is that they now, I'm jealous of this, they now have an iPhone and iPad editor. I just think in 2024, mid 2024, every one of these floor pedals that comes out now should have a computer editor, an iPhone editor, an iPad editor, and Android editors. There's just no excuse anymore. It's almost worth getting one of those products for that. Like I got a Kemper again a little while ago. I don't have it anymore, but I got one again because it had a phone and tablet editor. It wasn't fully featured, but it was there, and you could make changes to your preset on the fly. So the fact that Fender now has that, it's really big. It's really important because I still think the Quad Cortex is more flexible than the Tone Master Pro, and that's why I chose the Quad Cortex. But for many people that don't need that flexibility, the Tone Master Pro is a really, really good option, and especially now with these updates, and especially because you can now control it from your phone or iPad. That makes it much more compelling to suggest it to people. So yeah, hats off to Fender for doing that. That's a great solution. I hope they keep adding stuff. I hope they add more vocal stuff, and we'll see where everything else goes. But that's pretty cool stuff. If I run out of things to talk about, I might bring it up on the screen and talk through the additions that they've made, because it's pretty cool. All right. I'm still trying to get used to my hair. I can't get used to my hair. I keep seeing myself on the screen, and I don't like it. I might just put it back how it was in a minute. No, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick with it. And I'm going to grow it out so it should look better when it grows out. All right. How vain. Come on, let's get on with the gear stuff. So, Nick, good to see you. And Graham, good to see you. I see Mad for it Manchester. I see that the gig went really well. Liam Gallagher is touring Definitely Maybe, and there's some clips on YouTube, and they say he sounds great. His voice is very up and down. Like, it was not good for a while. I mean, when he first started singing, he was amazing. Then towards the end of Oasis, he got pretty bad, and then he made an amazing comeback recently on tour. But I've heard performances where he sounds incredible in tune. Tone, not as good as he used to have, in my opinion, but much improved tone. Great pitch. I've seen also videos where his pitch isn't as good, and I don't like listening to that. But the clips I heard of last night, he sounds really on form, and it sounds very, I mean, he doesn't sound like he did in the 90s, which I understand because he's now been singing the way he does for a long time. Some people do still sound the same as they did back then. Some people's voices do maintain the same characteristics throughout their life and just change very minimally. But he sounds very, very good. You know, it's very listenable. He sounds great. He just sounds like a more mature version, which is what happens to a lot of singers. And I think it's great. I wish he was coming to America. Greetings from Switzerland. Isaac, how you doing? In New Mexico, very cool. The mic is supposed to correct the distance. Yes, it does. Jasper says, huge rabbit hole these days. Martin hard cases, 300, 400, 500, or 600. Well, I really like the one that comes with the standard series, but you do have to be careful. It can close on the guitar and scratch it because it has the metal buckles. The ones that come with the custom shop, they can still do that, but they don't kind of fall flat. They don't kind of close by themselves as easily. So I'd probably go with one of them. You really would want to test them and see which one is actually best for controlling humidity and keeping out the heat and the cold. You need to test that, because just because a case is expensive doesn't necessarily mean it will protect from the elements better than the cheap one. That needs to be tested, and you can do tests to figure that out. But I like the one that comes with the standard series because it is light. That's why I like it. I had some that would close by themselves too easily, so you can very gently bend it back. Be very gentle, but you go back a bit, you can kind of reshape that hinge just so it will stay open by itself. But even then, whenever you open it, always keep a hand on it so it doesn't close by itself, because that can cause a scratch on your guitar. So I've used them for years. I've never had any damage, knock on wood, because I've always been careful with them. I do like them, but the custom shop cases are also very nice and don't close by themselves. So I'd probably go that route if I was getting a nice guitar. But if you want to, we can always come back and look at those cases in detail if we've got time. I mean, everything that can be should be out of the frame. Boom is in the shot is something. I hope not to hear someone yell at me. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like seeing the microphone in the shot because it just kind of, I know I'm watching a live podcast. I also think, even though, like I said, even though it's got this aura technology, it's still always best to sit as close as you can to the microphone like this. It's always better. You don't want the mic to be far away. If the mic's far away and out of shot, then you have to crank the gain so much that you just get a ton of noise. I don't like that. This can be just out of the frame, which I did last week. It worked really well. But, oh no, not that. I think the week before last. But I don't know. It depends on my mood. The best thing to do is to get a company to sponsor you, and then you can have their logo in the middle of the screen, and that's a sponsorship. And then everybody wins. Any experience with sticky nitro cellulose guitar necks? I think I got spoiled playing my solid body with a modern low friction smoked maple guitar neck. Yeah, I have mixed thoughts. If I got to choose, I wouldn't do a glossy neck on like the Martin 40 series have a glossy neck. Some of the Fender stuff have glossy necks. They do add a premium feel, which is why they do it, but they also slow you down and get sticky. Now, it's very easy to grab some wire wool and take that gloss off the back of the neck. But again, like I always say, be careful. Maybe get someone to do it for you. But that's nice. That looks nice too. It looks cool when the neck has been kind of sanded with the wire wool, just to take that finish off that part of the neck where your hand goes. I'd probably do that. But if I was ordering a custom, I wouldn't do a glossy neck anymore. I think they look good. Any kind of gloss finish to a guitar adds a premium feel and look, but at the expense of that feel being stickier. So I would avoid it myself. Let me know in the chat what you think, if you would also avoid that, because it's very personal opinion type thing. Lee's on call for work. Okay, very good. Poo Ninja, I love my Katana 100, but I'm already sold on a Gen 3, mainly due to the Bluetooth mobile editor. Yeah, that's the other thing. The Gen 3 Katanas just came out last week, and they also have an optional Bluetooth adapter to use the phone editor as well. So there is no excuse anymore. Kemper, the oldest one, has an editor on the Kemper stage. The new Katanas have an editor on the phone and iPad. The Tone Master Pro has it. I'm really annoyed that the Quad Cortex doesn't, when that's supposed to be the new trendy cool kids toy, and it doesn't have that. I think it's dumb. It's really dumb. They didn't do it. They're way too slow. Still think it's my favorite. Still think it's amazing. Still think the updates they do release are amazing. But still, there's no denying it. Way too slow. And where is your editor? It's ridiculous in 2024. So, I mean, even if you want to bring out a new plus version, I would buy it. I want the mobile editor. The ironic thing is I tend to end up not using mobile editors. I get a gig, I'll just use what's there. I won't make any changes. I'm too busy with other stuff. But I just want the ability, if I have the time, to do that. It's such a quality of life improvement. All right. I like your hair. Yeah. I don't hate it. I'm just not used to it. And I don't know. Whenever we make a change in life, you have to get used to it, right? Nick says, I'm very curious what you like about the Quad Cortex versus the Helix also. Okay, so you want my honest answer to this? I'll give it to you, because, you know, what else is there? I've had many Helix and Stomps. Here's my honest answer, and people will shoot me down and disagree, but here's the absolute honest answer. I found it really, really hard to get a good sound from them. And people will say it's me. Okay, fine, it's me. Maybe it is me. I will say this, when I went to Line 6 during the NAMM trip, I played their Helix, and they've got like in this room where they make the amp models, I compared the Helix to the real thing. And I think I did guess which was the Helix, but it was really, really difficult. They were so close. Now, the thing is, it wasn't, it was set up in such a way that it was the amp through a real cab, through a real cab, through a mic. So it wasn't just plugging it in at home, to be fair. But I just never, yeah, I used it at gigs. I got close. I found workarounds. I made videos about it. Oh, this is how I might do this. This is how I did some EQ matching, all this stuff. Whenever I plugged into it, it just didn't do it for me. So many times, I just eventually decided to admit defeat. I think that was an important product. I think it's a great product. It changed the game in so many ways. I do think it's way overdue a successor. I don't understand why there's no successor. I wonder at this point if there will be another successor because of the lack of momentum that I'm seeing. But that's the truth. It was really the Quad Cortex I just plugged in so many times and just felt this sounds really good. I just liked it. I don't know. Maybe if I tried it now, I would change my mind. I don't know, but that's just all I can say. That's how I tend to judge stuff. If I plug in and I get good sounds consistently, then that's a good thing. I did have the Tone Master Pro for about a week when I reviewed it, and I think that I did get the similar feeling from that as well. So I don't know what it is. And I know all these modelers are modelers. They're not a real amp. They'll never sound like a real amp in the room. That's not what they're supposed to do. But again, I think I base it just on the law of averages. You know, the Quad Cortex just sounded great so many times. I compared it to a real amp. When I had the JP 2C amp, it sounds exactly the same through the same IR, in my opinion. That really sealed the deal for me as well. I've used it through the power bass that I reviewed for Ritter, and that sounds amazing through that. It sounds amazing through the Fender FR12. So just based on those averages, that's why I stuck with it. But also the size. It's small, it's light, it's powerful. You can run a mic into it. They are going to be adding some vocal effects soon. All those reasons combined are why I stuck with that. But the only thing that I'm really jealous of with the Fender one is, well, it's got a really good spring reverb, the best of all of them, which I would like to have in the Quad Cortex. But also now the fact they've got a phone editor, that makes me really jealous. Because I was looking into Android tablets for a while. I was going to have an Android tablet, like $800, just so I could run a cable from it to the Quad Cortex and use the editor if I went out to a gig. But I decided not to do it because it's $800, and I probably, like I said earlier, will end up never needing to do that. So that'd just be another thing that sits on the shelf and is a waste of money. So I didn't do it. But there's no excuse why it's not on the phone and the iPad as a free app. There's just no excuse. But yeah, that's my thoughts. So I don't have any. I just have Helix Native now. I don't have anything else. I have Helix Native, the Quad Cortex, and my amp. And that's the reason. But I will say this, though, mostly form factor. The fact that thing is so small and light and so powerful. If I did have a 3-piece band gig in the city, and it's so important now to travel light. I don't know if you've heard, but New York are going to be charging $15 to drive into the city. So, I mean, this is more money out of a musician's pocket. Not just musician, everyone. But if you are forced to take a train, if you are, and even if you do drive in, you want to travel light. The Helix is a very big, heavy unit. You know, I don't really get the point. The amp I used to use was not much heavier than the Helix anyway, and I don't need many sounds. So the fact that the Quad Cortex is also so much smaller and lighter, if I got a 3-piece band gig, we could take one car with the drums, a bass amp, and my rig, my PA rig, and we could set up in 20 minutes and we could just DI everything through the quad Cortex. That's why I like it. And that's also why a mobile editor would be amazing, because you could then have someone mix the band through that pedal, because there's 4 inputs. So you could have the guitar, the lead vocal, the backing vocal, and the bass guitar through that as a small mixer, and someone could stand at the front and mix the levels from their phone. It's ridiculous. There's no... Okay, I'll stop talking about it, but it is ridiculous. There's no editor on the phone for the quad Cortex. Kevin, how you doing? Good to see you. What's the best travel size acoustic with pickup? Well, I might be reviewing the close travel guitar with the Baggs Anthem. So on paper, that, but I don't have it here, so I can't tell you if you should buy one or not. I used to gig the Maton Diesel Special 3/4 size Maton with the they now have the AP5 Pro. I had the AP5. They now have the AP5 Pro in it. I always loved that guitar. I gigged that guitar for 7 years or so before it got really popular. They're really popular now. You see loads of people playing those mini Matons, but I gigged one exclusively for 7 years or so. Really wore the thing out. It was a real workhorse. It was a great stage guitar, aside from being a great travel guitar. So I would definitely, in my personal list, the Maton Diesel Special with the AP5 Pro system is one of my top ones. If you want full-size frets, though, scale length and everything, you want to look more at something like the close travel carbon fiber guitar, even though I can't fully recommend it at this point. And aside from that, you could look at something like a Yamaha silent guitar. They're cool because they're portable and they sound really good plugged in. I've still got one actually. I don't know if I'm going to keep it, but it's really been worth having, because like when you want to practice late at night, you can, because it's so light and quiet. It's silent. It's not silent, but it's very, very quiet. So a bit of an odd mix there, but I would do that. For a mini guitar with a great pickup system, the mini Maton, and then for a regular kind of feeling guitar neck, the Yamaha silent guitar, which also has the benefit of being silent for silent practice, or almost silent, you just hear the strings. And then something like a close carbon guitar, which folds in half and feels more like a regular neck, and has you can get it with the Baggs Anthem, something like that. So they're my 3. Let me know if you've got any suggestions in the chat. I'm gonna have some water. Trying my best to drink more water. It's hard to do. I'm still tired. I had most of my gigs are early these days, but I did I call late night gig, 9 to midnight on Saturday. Got home late and then played again Sunday afternoon. It really wiped me out. So I need to drink more water. All right, Lewis, thanks to your videos, I just bought a Cole Clark Angel 2. Right, well, so do me a favor. I told this to someone else during the week. Can you email Cole Clark from the website and tell them that you bought that guitar based on my videos? Please. It really helps me out. And the thing about Cole Clark is that the CEO of Cole Clark gets the emails. So if you email Cole Clark through their website and tell them that you got the guitar, you love it, and you got it because of Aaron Short music, that would really help me out. If you want to help me out, please do. I mean, I already have a pretty good relationship with them anyway. I know the people at the company through my videos, but even so, it's always good for those emails to be seen by them and not me. But I do appreciate you saying that as well. I would now also like a dreadnought with a good. So you've got the Angel 2. Is that all Blackwood? Let me know if it's all Blackwood and when you got it and where you got it. I would now like a dreadnought with a good pickup, considering Yamaha FGX5 or the Fat Lady 2. I don't like saying that. Cole Clark FL2. I wish they would change their names. I think their names could be updated. So, here's the thing. What do you want to use it for? Comes back to that old thing again. I had a used FL2, and it's in the video of the review, you probably saw it on my channel. It sounded amazing plugged in. I think the FL2s, the dreadnought size Cole Clarks, do sound even bigger plugged in. So if you're looking to mostly plug in, I would say the FL2. But on the other hand, you've already got an Angel. So I probably wouldn't do that. I went from the FL2 to the Angel 2 because I liked the smaller size. It's more comfortable, even though I'm 6'5". So if this is to plug in exclusively, then consider the FL2. However, if this is to play more unplugged and more of a general use guitar, I would look at what you said, the FGX5. The FGX3 is also a good option because the difference isn't that big at all. In fact, I bet you couldn't even tell which was which. There are factors like the 5 has the hard shell case and upgraded nuts and saddle and pins. So if you are, if you don't mind spending a few $100 more, I guess it is worth it. And I would get the one with the pickup. It's a very good pickup system. Similar to the Cole Clark. I think they kind of borrowed that idea from Cole Clark and switched some things around to avoid the patent. So my gut is telling me to tell you to get an FGX5. I think that will complement the Angel really well. The Angel is an amazing stage guitar, as you know, very comfortable and sounds good unplugged. But then the FGX5 will sound great unplugged and still sound very good plugged in. So you've got all bases covered there. So I'm going to say Yamaha FGX5. It's not hard to recommend that, especially with the price, because the price on that is incredible. So just depends what you want, like I said. But if you are looking more for an acoustic guitar, then my recommendation is either the FGX5 or a D18 with the Anthem. I would do a D18 with the Anthem SL as well. That'd be a great guitar for what you're looking for. But way more money than the FGX5. And the FGX3 is an even better deal if you want to save money. But if you just want two great guitars, then yeah, Angel and FGX5 or Angel and Martin D18 with an Anthem, but that will be way more money. So there you go. Hope that answers the question. Rex said, for a travel guitar, you can get a Harley Benton mahogany guitar. Okay, I haven't played it, so I don't like to personally have an opinion on stuff I haven't played, but I guess you have played it, right, Rex? You own one? And the Harley Bentons I did play were super impressive for the money, as I've said before. So, yeah, check that. If you do check that out, let us know what you think about it. Rusty says, Ferk make a nice little travel guitar called the Little Jane. I think I've seen that, and that does look good too, as well. But again, I haven't played it. Don't want to personally have an opinion on stuff I haven't played. But yes, I have heard good things, and Rusty also has as well. So there's a lot of that stuff. There's a lot of travel guitars on the market, as there's a lot of guitar pedals on the market as well. They are very popular these days. Lewis says, the Angel is Blackwood, looking for a good drummer. Is it all Blackwood? Blackwood and Blackwood? Angel 2. And are you in the USA? Did you get it in the USA? I'm just curious because there aren't many guitars around from Cole Clark or Maton right now in the USA. They're much harder to come by than I would like. I wish I could go to Australia, and I probably will go to Australia at some point to look at guitars. But yeah, you're on the right path. So the Angel 2 is amazing plugged in, as you've discovered, and the I still EQ mine. I still run it. I'm running it through the TC Helicon Voice i3 Extreme, and I'm still EQing out some of those frequencies that I don't like with the pedal, like around 2K, 3K in between those two. So it's not like even something like that is not just like plug in and go for me. I still have to manipulate it a little bit, as I do with all my stuff now, but it definitely has the power and the dynamics that I'm looking for. Oh, itchy nose already. I was cranking the AC before I went live. It was freezing cold. Now it's already getting warm again. It's crazy. It's very, very hot. Okay, Blackwood in the UK. Okay, very cool. Yeah, Lewis, please do email them from the website and say that you got one because of Aaron Short. I'd appreciate it. All right, Roy, thanks, Aaron, and all of your tips. Playing the Taylor GS Mini most of the time and looking for an upgrade. Well, actually, the Taylor GS Mini is a great guitar. I don't know if there is such a thing as an upgrade. I would probably put an Anthem SL in the Taylor GS Mini. That's up there. I forgot to mention the GS Mini. I did own one for a while. I had a Fishman Matrix in it, and it sounded really good. They are very impressive guitars for the size and money. And actually, I think, based on the Taylor guitars I've played, which isn't that many, I think the GS Mini is one of the best. So actually, I'm going to take back what I said. I gave you some options, but the options I gave you, I do think are upgrades. Like, a carbon guitar is a really cool thing. The Maton Diesel is amazing plugged in, like I said. So, I do think they're upgrades, and they are more expensive. But as you've already got the GS Mini, I think you might just want to upgrade the pickup system in there to start with. Miss Lee is in Australia. Where in Australia? Are you in Melbourne, or are you somewhere else? Because I really want to go to Melbourne. The thing about Melbourne is you've got Maton and Cole Clark in Melbourne, which is why I want to go there. Am I going to do a review of your new Cole Clark? Yes, I'll have a video about the new Cole Clark up this week, but it won't be what you think it will be. So stay. That's a good point in time to say, if you're new here, please subscribe and ring the bell. That's how you do it. Click the like button for me if you like this video, if you like my videos, and then hit the subscribe button and ring the bell. I go live almost every Monday unless I'm out of town or got a gig to do these live streams. My favorite format these days is to go live and just talk live and hang out like this. I really do enjoy it. And it gives me a chance to answer all the questions in one place. I get a lot of people now send me messages and leave comments, and I try to reply to comments when I can, but lately I'm just telling everyone to come to the live stream with the questions. I can't answer them on social media and the videos and everything. It just takes forever. And this way we can share. As you've seen today, many people in the chat have their own opinions and suggestions as well, which is nice to draw from, as well as just myself. So please do subscribe and ring the bell. It really helps me out. And I will have some stuff coming up aside from the live streams as well. There's a few new products coming out that I'll be covering on the channel in the next few weeks, and some other things too. So stay tuned. Lee says the Voyage Air take a lot of beating. Full size OM, but the neck folds. Mine's been all over the world. Yeah, I have played. I was offered to buy a Voyage Air with the K&K Trinity system built in years ago for a really good price, and I always regretted not buying it. That is a cool guitar. I think they sound like great guitars in their own right. Just the guitars themselves are great, right? For the Voyage Air, they're just great guitars. So yeah, that's a good option as well. The Voyage Air. There's so many options. You know, there's just so many options because they got so popular. What happened was the GS Mini was really well. The Mini Maton was really popular in small circles. That's how I discovered it back in the day. And then the GS Mini was really popular. Great sounding, great size, great value guitar. Really popular. And then everyone copied them. I mean, Martin brought out the Mini Dreadnought, or the Dreadnought Junior. They brought that guitar out, and that did pretty well. I still preferred the GS Mini at the time, but that was cool for Martin fans. They could have like a portable Dreadnought to take around with them. Do they still make those? I'm not sure. I always wish they'd made a solid wood version, and actually back in the day they did. I was at Guitar Center one day, and they had a custom shop Mini. I can't think what it's called now. I asked Martin, and they told me. But they basically made at one time in the custom shop. Someone ordered one, and they also did make them. I think they were big in Japan. True story. I read that on Martin's site too. Like a mini Dreadnought, like a 3/4 size Dreadnought. Really, really cool guitar. But they never made them as a standard guitar, as far as I know. Gray from Australia. Are you going to do a review? No, no. Oh, good day. Queensland. Okay. I'm getting the new Angel 3 BLBL hum. Why is that a new model? Are you saying that the Angel 3 before wasn't offered with the humbucker, and now they're offering it with the humbucker? Let me know. I'm a little bit out of touch. They just keep changing stuff so much, and I try to keep up with them, but it's so difficult when you're in another country. If I was in Melbourne, I'd be at that factory all the time, trying stuff out, if they'd let me, and Mayton as well. Great companies, and very close to each other. I will, either this year or next year, go to Australia for a week and visit those factories and the local guitar stores as well, because I really, really want to. I just got to find the right time to do it. Rex says, I've had the Harley Benton Travel Mahogany E for a few years. $200. Well, there you go. Shipping to the US has a simple pickup. Not with shipping. The shipping used to be $35 for a guitar. Now it's $70. Or are you saying the guitar was like $150 and the shipping brought it to $200? That's a good deal. Simple pickup, mahogany laminate back and sides, pretty stable. Yeah, that's the thing. For a travel guitar, you really want laminate. Like, you really want carbon fiber or laminate, because that will make it more durable when traveling. So that's not a bad thing that it is laminate on the travel guitar. I mean, the Mini Diesel is $2,000 and solid woods. So then again, mine held up really well. Mine didn't get broken all the years I had it. I don't have it. I sold it eventually. I will get another one. I love that guitar. I sold the one I had because I wore it away. There was blood stains inside. The frets were worn out. It was either get it refretted. So that's one of those few guitars where I've decided to sell it rather than get it refretted. That's one guitar I regret doing that with, because I wrote songs on that. I gigged around the world with that guitar. I should have I always say this, but I should have kept it. But I'll definitely get another one. The new ones have a split saddle with supposed better intonation. So that's probably a good thing anyway. So I'm not upset about that. But that was a cool guitar. But yeah, if you're traveling, if you want something that's light and won't be susceptible to the weather conditions and things, something like the Harley Benton Travel Mahogany guitar is a good idea. And you can also upgrade the pickup in that guitar with the Anthem or something as well, if you want to get a better sound. In fact, why don't we jump over and look at that guitar? So that will be on Thomann. So give me a break. All right, so it's called the Travel Mahogany. Which one is it, Rex? I'll guess which one it is. Harley Benton. That's a bass. I guess I should put Harley Benton first. That's a bass. Oh, wow. 99. So it really is literally 200 with shipping. That's a crazy price. You can't beat that, right? Wow. That is crazy. How did they do it? How do they make a guitar for $99? Has it got a pickup as well? If it doesn't, I would install the Anthem. The ironic thing is the Anthem SL costs way more than the guitar. It's got a V-neck. I don't think I'd like that. I mean, yeah, the price is hard to argue with. Oh, I guess there's a version with a pickup, right? Let's see. There we go, 125. So I would get the one without the pickup and then install the Anthem SL, even though it's a couple $100 upgrade. It will sound great, I think. Yeah, and then you also won't have the hole in the side. You won't have this redundant on the side. So this is a tuner. That's pretty cool. If a tuner works well, that's pretty good. Volume, treble, and bass. So no microphone or anything, right? Yeah, I would get the one without the pickup and then get a good pickup, like a used Anthem SL, something like that, for $150. That would be a great guitar. But, you know, again, I haven't played it, so you have to take Rex's word for that. But it's pretty crazy what you can get now for this money, right? I got an email from Temu, and I'm going to make them an offer. But it's going to have to be worth my while. I looked at the stuff they have, and they don't have any like higher end stuff that I would want to feature. But they do have guitars like this. So if they want me to do a video on trying out their guitars like this, I mean, I would definitely review the Harley Benton, but I'm not going to buy one to do it. But I would definitely review it. I've got a feeling it's going to be a really good guitar after a setup. And I don't know about the Temu stuff. It may be the same. I don't know, but we'll see. I'd only do it if they sponsored it. But I would definitely check out their stuff. And I see them doing more and more down the line. If you want to have a conversation about Harley Benton and Temu, then I don't really want to do it today, but you can if you want to. I mean, it is good to see what's out there for these prices. Okay, yeah, there's a whole conversation around that. I do appreciate that. But it's still good to see what's happening in all areas of the market, because we've got Martin now doing up old broken vintage guitars and selling them direct on Reverb for $40K. We've got guitars for $99 coming from Harley Benton, and we've got everything in between. So it definitely is worth, you know, keeping an eye out for what's going on, especially these days with the way things are going too. But yeah, I would bet that guitar sounds decent, the Harley Benton, and I'd like to play one at some point if I get a chance to. But anyway, let's move on from that topic, because that can get into the woods for many different reasons. And let's go to Zemail's comment. Question about doing solo songwriting. So this is good. I actually would like to talk more about the solo gigs on the channel, because it is what I do at the end of the day. And I thought about doing some videos on that instead of the gear to try it out. But let's start with this question here. It's good timing. Solo songwriter gigs with a Martin HD28. I have an opportunity to get one which happens to be short scale. Do you think an HD28 is too much? I usually play triple O's. This is a complicated one, and I feel like people will not agree with me when I say this. But here's my first thing I'll say, which I think is really, really important. When I was buying a Martin guitar and I was at the factory about 10 years ago, someone said to me, someone that worked there who's high up said to me, people don't hear the guitar, they hear the pickup. I think that's really, really important to remember that. If you're playing a house concert, they'll hear the guitar. If you're playing a smallish restaurant, they'll hear some of the guitar bleed through. But in most venues where you're performing and there's some kind of a PA system, you're hearing the PA system. And lately, I'll fill the whole of the guitar anyway, which cuts the volume more than by half to avoid any feedback or any kind of bleed in my loops. So for me, the guitar doesn't matter at all. I did say that the Dreadnought guitar of the Cole Clark sounds bigger than the Angel, but that's because that pickup is particularly sensitive. It really does hear everything about the guitar because it's such a sensitive pickup. That's why I like it. But even then, you are mostly hearing the pickup, not the guitar. The guitar has some influence, definitely, but you're hearing the pickup, and you can then EQ that sound however you want. So you can take a triple O and add a load of blow end to the sound at the gig and make it sound more like a dreadnought. And conversely, you can take a dreadnought and cut low end, cut high end, make it sound more like a triple O by using the EQ. So I wouldn't worry too much about the size of the guitar. I do think that the bigger guitars with a very good pickup system sound bigger and fuller, or can sound, depending on the guitar, can sound bigger and fuller than a small guitar. I do think that's true. But it's not as important as the PA you're playing through and the pickup system. They are going to have a greater impact, because a big dreadnought with a fancy pickup through a tiny little 6-inch cheap horrible speaker will not sound as good as a huge PA with subwoofers. Well, I say it's good, I mean it's full, as a huge PA with subwoofers and things like that. I mean, you want everything. You want a great sounding guitar through a great sounding PA. That's really the goal here. But the point I'm trying to make is that the guitar doesn't matter as much plugged in as it does unplugged, in my opinion, and people will disagree. But it also depends on the guitar and the pickup system. But you can make so many changes with EQ if you want to shape those sounds. My thing about playing the HD28 live is just I don't like the size of it. I don't like how it feels. And I'm tall. I'm 6'5", so it looks more normal on me than a small guitar. But I don't find them comfortable, and that's why I don't use them anymore. My favorite guitar to play on stage would be an OM or a Grand Performance. So the Angel's a Grand Performance, the Maton 808 is an OM with a deeper body, and then the Martin OM. They're my favorite guitars to play on stage because of how they feel in the hands, right? Also, you don't want a ton of low end because low end can feed back. But even some OMs have a lot of low end, especially the Martin ones. They can have a very boomy low end because of the scallop bracing, I've found. And that can be a problem with feedback. It's not even about the size of the guitar. Sometimes a smaller guitar can have more low end frequencies than the bigger ones. It all depends on the guitar. All wood is different. It's very important to remember that with guitars. They really do sound different from guitar to guitar. But short scale HD28, well, I'm not a huge fan of short scale, even though I'm Aaron Short. I'm not a huge fan of short scale guitars. I'm not a huge fan of dreadnoughts live. Unplugged, they can sound way bigger and fuller, great for recording. They can sound bigger through the PA if you're doing big strumming songs, if you've got the right pickup system with it. But as an all-round guitar, I like more of a medium-sized guitar. But that's just me. I especially plugged in. I love those medium-sized guitars plugged in. I love the OMs unplugged. They're very balanced. The OM orchestra models were the original guitars they made to be heard through an orchestra. They're not quiet guitars. They cut through really well. But they just went even bigger with the Dreadnought to fill the big music rooms and give you that extra low end. I just think that can be too much sometimes. It can be a problem. I'm really conflicted myself with this answer. I know. All I can tell you is that my favorite guitars to play live now are those medium-sized guitars. And mostly because of how it feels when I'm playing them for comfort. That's my 100% answer. The other stuff I said can be depending on the guitar and the pickup system. So take that with a grain of salt. As a follow-up, did you ever gig with dreads? What were your takeaways? Yeah, I mean, so when I started gigging 15 years ago with the Mini Maton, I liked it because it looked funny because I was 6'5", and I still am. And the guitar was 3/4 size Mini Maton. It looked funny. People used to say, "What's that lip? Why are you playing ukulele?" It was a talking point. But that guitar sounded huge plugged in. So there's the proof that you're hearing the pickup system. Sounded massive plugged in. Really incredible. And I could fly with it. So that's why I gigged that guitar. I do still have the HDC 28E Anthem. And I did gig that for a while and it sounded fantastic. And I played it the other day. And unplugged, it sounds really, really big and full, and plugged in as well. It's a great guitar. I'm not going to be selling that one. I'm selling a lot of guitars. I'm not going to sell the HTC 28E. Great guitar all round. Unplugged, plugged, big sound. But I just don't feel any desire to take it to a gig because of the size of it. And, I mean, let's be honest. I'm very much into these Australian guitars because of the percussive sounds they get, because of the controls on the side. I said earlier I don't like controls on the side. I don't, but I like it on stage because I can quickly make adjustments, especially to the volume. I hate volume controls in regular guitars. I feel like I don't need them. But for my gigs, I like having the additional volume, the additional EQ in the guitar. So for me, it really depends on what I'm doing. It depends on the gig and the point of that guitar. So that's why I kind of like many different things. So from Martin, I would have no pickup and no controls and just find one that sounds great acoustically. And then for the stage, I like those mid-size Australian guitars with the controls on the side because they're so practical. But let me see if I answered your question. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of short scale. I had the authentic 00028 that I sold a few months ago. Of course, as I went to sell it, I played it. It sounded incredible, but I didn't love the neck. I didn't love the short scale, even though that's more of a mental thing as well. Like, oh, it's short scale. I don't know. And also, it's also what you get used to. I'm used to longer scale. So you did say you've got a 000, so a short scale dreadnought could be a good option. So ignore me on that front, because if you're used to a 000, you'll probably like the short scale dread. Short scale dreads are hard to come by, so if you found one, maybe you should check it out. What will also throw a spanner in the works is that LR Bags are releasing a new pickup in 2 months that could be amazing. We don't know yet. I haven't played it since NAMM, but that could be a game changer. We don't know. So let me just make sure I answered your question, because I went off track a bit. Right. No, it's not too much. They can sound great depending on the pickup. If you're playing acoustically, which you didn't say, then they can sound really great. The short scale you'll probably like because you're used to short scale on the 000. My only thing would be to say, make sure you like how a dreadnought feels when you're holding it. That's it. If you're okay with it, if you like it, then you should probably get that. If you don't like dreadnoughts, then maybe save your money. I don't know. Let me know if that helps in any way, shape, or form. Thanks, Rex. Yeah, we pulled it up. Let me know if that's the same one. Back to Back says, I'm listening. Bedowan, good to see you. How are you doing? Rex, I agree, Ari, the pickup. I've been surprised how big Sound Anthem and CO7 sound. Yeah. Well, the Anthem is just a great system when it's installed correctly and set up correctly. It's just a great system. There's no way around it. It's one of my favorite aftermarket pickup systems. We'll see if this new hi-fi duet rivals or beats it when it comes out. That'll be interesting. Same with recording a guitar in the studio. It can make it sound like any guitar. Yeah, EQ is your friend. EQ is so important. EQ can, like, there's these plugins. I've done some videos in the past on it, like these plugins that do the EQ match. If you EQ match an OM and a dread, you can switch the way they sound. If you apply the EQ, so it figures out the EQ of the guitar, and you can take that and apply that to the channel where the other guitar is playing, and you can basically make one sound like the other. That's EQ, and that's so powerful. So the Angel 3 electric cutaway, Blackwood top, Blackwood back and sides humbucker has AAA grade wood. Angel 2 has AA grade wood. Angel 3 has more abalone bling. Angel 2, they don't make them in bulk. It's a custom order. Yeah, I will say I've owned both, and I kind of wish, I'll give you my thoughts here. I hope you don't mind, Miss Lee. I mean, that's why I'm here, right? Although you didn't ask for it, but I'll do it anyway. I wish, my eyes are really, I think I don't suffer from hay fever, but I'm definitely suffering from something this year. And it does go away. Usually I get it for a couple of weeks and it goes away. I hope that happens again. But I didn't have it until I went live, which is interesting. I wish the Angel 3, and I've told them this, I wish they would come as standard with stainless steel frets. I wish they'd have another reason for the price increase. The price increase, as you said, is for that AAA grade wood and the abalone. And if you've seen the Angel 3 that I had on my channel a few weeks ago, it looks incredible. It's a work of art. I still like the 2, though. I like the simplicity of the 2. I wish they just had the abalone rosette around the sound hole, because as you know, I'm a big fan. But you always pay, all these guitar companies, you pay a lot of money for the abalone, and I find that hard to justify to people unless that's what they're looking for. That's what I'm trying to say. And the thing about the Cole Clarks is they're so inconsistent visually because they use so many different wood from different places when they source it, which is great for the environment. They're getting what's available, but that means they do look quite different. And same with the threes, I guess, as well. The threes look different as well. So I think there are some twos that look amazing, and there's some twos that don't look amazing, and vice versa. So yeah, I agree with all that. But you also get the different tuners, but I prefer the tuners on the 2 series myself. If I was getting a 3 now as a custom order, I would ask for the tuners from the 2 series. They're not as, the ratio's lower, but that means I can do certain things with them in my show. For example, if I turn the tuning key exactly 1 full turn, it's about a full step down. So I can go from E to D for the end of a song very easily. I find that harder on the Angel 3 tuners. So personally, I would change those tuners out, or ask the factory will probably do it for you if you ask them to. But of course, if that's what you're looking for, the 3s have, because of the tuners and the abalone and the AAA grade wood, the 3s have more of that Art Deco look. They definitely look more high end. They definitely look prettier and more expensive if that's what you're looking for. But I think I still like the 2, and I wish they'd make a 2 with a little bit of abalone. And I also noticed recently, which I thought might be a mistake, but they've got some Sunburst Angel 2s at Groon Guitar, and they're about $900 more than the 2 regular guitars. That's the only thing I've noticed. And you're in Australia, so the prices are different. But in America, the Sunburst Angel 2s are $900 more. The 3s are $1,500 or more than $1,500 more, and the master grade ones are like around $5,000 or $6,000. So if anyone's watching this, I still think the 2 is a good way to go. If you're looking for a gigging guitar, I still think a good Angel 2 is a nice way to go. I have to stop us here because Roy has sent a super sticker. I really appreciate the support, Roy. Thank you so much. That'll help me pay for the streaming software throughout the year. I appreciate it. And it's a dog shaking the hips saying thank you. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And thank you for the super chat. If you want to support the channel like this, you can send a super chat, a super thanks. Or if you're buying something, please don't buy something just to support the channel. But if you are going to be buying something from Sweetwater especially, or Amazon, or in America, or Thomann in Europe, if you click my affiliate links below all my videos before you make the purchase, I do get a small commission at no cost to you. And it does really help, especially like coming up, if you'll be buying something like the Voice Live 3 Extreme and they won't give you a discount on it. You've got to pay full price. If you buy it through my link, that helps me out and it doesn't cost you anything. And everyone's a winner. So I'll just throw that in there. Thank you, Roy. Back to Back says, 00 size is what I favor for all around performing. You're a petite gal. There you go. But then again, I'm 6'5" and I used to play the 3/4 Maton. And some people are petite and play dreadnoughts. So it's really about how it feels to the person, right? There's no right or wrong with this stuff. You go on to say, I like dreads, but looks like I'm playing an upright bass, right? Yeah. I should play dreads because it looks normal on me. It still looks small, but it looks more normal. But I want to play what's comfortable for me and what sounds good. And that's why I probably wouldn't go for those grand performance size guitars without them being my stage guitars. I really like the Rain Song. Sounds amazing. I was playing that the other day and thinking, what a shame they closed down. What a great guitar. That sounds amazing, and that's a medium-sized grand performance body. But if I wasn't doing the gigs and plugging in, I probably wouldn't go for that body shape. Probably go for OM, honestly. But plugging in visually and sound-wise, I like that grand performance style body shape on the stage guitars, for sure. I would like to try the Martin SC28E, which is kind of an OM. That's their SC body shape. What do you think of those? I think they look modern, but I love the idea of the playability. I know I had the custom shop one. I've played some of the standard ones at Guitar Center, and I felt that the new ones I know the neck felt a bit better. Neck shapes can vary. They vary a lot on Cole Clark's, actually. They can vary a lot on all guitars. Fender as well. It's crazy how the same model can have a very different feeling neck depending on how it's finished on the day. But the SCI I played at Guitar Center a while ago, it was an SC18E, had a really nice feeling neck. I just, personally, you know, they're not cheap, and I don't know why there's not been more fanfare about them. I think they could be great options for many players, especially if you're coming from an electric guitar background and you want something that's easy to play and transition from the electric guitar. I think this is a great option. The offset body, I'm not a huge fan of offset guitars, but I do like the way they've made something that's modern with an adjustable neck still look pretty traditional. Pretty traditional. It still looks like a Martin, but with more of a modern twist to it. So, yeah, I would like to try one of these at some point. I also wonder when the new pickup system from Bags comes out, how it will sound in this guitar. Will it sound as good or better than the Anthem? Who knows? But these are definitely selling. They had an 18 the other day come in, and that's sold straight away. So we'll see what happens with that. There's a couple of demo models, not sure why. Perhaps they were for the video they made. They haven't sold. The new 18 did sell. The 18's a bit cheaper because it's mahogany. And the one that I played was a mahogany as well. But yeah, still no stainless steel frets. So we'll see what happens with that as well in the future. I might show you these Cole Clarks that I was looking at actually as well in a second. Hello, sir. I have a D18 with Anthem. Very nice. An S1 Pro. Very nice. Want to add to the chain to have the most realistic acoustic sound. Don't we all, my friend? It doesn't exist. You know, I sound like a grumpy old man when I say that. It doesn't exist. It is the truth. You do need to hear that. Everyone needs to hear that. There is no such thing as the plugged-in acoustic that sounds like a mic'd up acoustic. And also, always remember this. You probably wouldn't want that. You probably don't want that sound at your gig. You might do, depending on the PA and the occasion. But for a lot of gigs, you actually want a bigger sound, which you do tend to get from a pickup. I haven't heard it yet. We might get it from the new Hi-Fi Duet. I have high hopes, but I try not to keep those hopes too high because I often get disappointed. You can play around with IRs, impulse responses, but I kind of have taken a break from that because I just didn't find it worth the effort. I would say, not interested in effects. I would say the best thing you can do is just mess around with the settings on the S1 Pro. I know they're limited. The Pro Plus has more settings available. I prefer the Pro Plus. If you can get an S1 Pro Plus, I would do it. Personally, I think it's a good upgrade. And the only thing you can really add there is some kind of EQ pedal. That's kind of it. EQ will let you make it sound more natural for sure. But it's a great sounding system already. I'd probably at this point wait for the new Bags Hi-Fi Duet reviews to come out, because that could be more realistic sounding for sure on paper. So wait a couple of months for the new pickup to be released. In the meantime, if you can get the Pro Plus, consider it. It does give you more tone match options. I've been using the full range flat response preset, which I think sounds better, less bassy, and I think it sounds better personally. And that's only available on the Plus. I wouldn't say it's a must. I'm not going to tell you to go out and buy one right now. It's not a must-have upgrade, but the Plus does have some nice upgrades over the original, in my opinion. I do much prefer it. So yeah, maybe borrow an EQ pedal, play around with EQ. Like I've been saying all day, EQ is very powerful. That's worth trying out. But before you do anything drastic, wait to hear the reviews of the new pickup system that's coming out, because I think that could be more realistic sounding than the Anthem. Yeah. Our musician friend plays a Martin D28 and a D45 when gigging out. Wouldn't play anything else. Hey, that's great. You know, I know people do that, and I do think it's cool. You got to do what works for you. As you'll see in the video I may be posting this week, there may be a reason not to take a D45 to a gig. But you know, here's the thing. If you have, I really believe this. If you have a D45 that you love, and it's your best friend, and it sounds great, and you've bonded with it, and there's emotional connections to this stuff as well. If you've got all that stuff going on, and you love that guitar, and you want to gig that guitar, you should gig it. Have insurance. The worst that will happen is it gets stolen. Don't let keep your eye on it. Don't let it get stolen. If it gets broken somehow, have it repaired. Any crack can be repaired by a luthier, knows what they're doing. I totally agree with that mentality of get the guitar you want and just play the crap out of it. Wear the frets out, get it refretted. A good quality guitar will last you a lifetime. I do believe that. I really do. I think that's great. Personally, obviously I have a YouTube channel. I like gear. I like trying stuff out. I like exploring different systems and guitars. Yes, it's a waste of money. I've wasted a lot of money on doing this, and that's why I'm glad I got the channel to, over time, recoup a little bit of that money through the ads and the sponsorships. It does mean that I'm very experienced and I can help people with their decisions. That's not really why I did it. I don't want to spend my life... Someone said to me the other day, you've saved me a lot of time and money by doing all these tests. And that's not why I did it. I'm happy to help people, I guess, but I didn't do that necessarily. I did it because I wanted to know. And I made the channel as a way to grow a platform around that. And honestly, lately it's been nice. It's hard to, when you think about it, you've got to pay for the streaming software and equipment, and the cameras and repairs. You don't really make money, but you do make a little bit of money. And if you can do sponsored videos, which I hope to do at some point, it helps you recoup some of those costs as well. But I just really wanted to know. I wanted to try those things. And now I know, when I think about all that gear, I know what I really think about it. And it may not apply to you based on where you're playing and how you're playing, etc. But I know that I tried it all. And ironically, I kind of came back to where I started, but at least I know. And it's good now, because when I try something new, I can bring all that into my thoughts. I've got all that experience from all the different things that I've tried. So I don't regret it, but it is ultimately a very big rabbit hole that you've got to be wary of, for sure. So yeah, my point is, if you've got a D45 and you love it, and it sounds great plugged in and unplugged, and you're happy, put the memories on it. I do agree with that. Definitely. I kind of wish that had been me, to be honest, but it wasn't. And I do now have a rig that I think sounds fantastic, and that's okay. It's so subjective on the dread question. Not sure I'll know without pulling the trigger. Problem is, I don't need any more, nor am I finding it easy to think of what I part with. If you don't need it, don't get it. Because I'll tell you exactly what will happen. You'll get it, and it'll be... I mean, you might love it, you might not love it. If you don't love it, you'll probably sell it on. First of all, it's a terrible time to sell gear right now. People are not buying. Stores are closing out cheap. I mean, I say that. Have you seen it? It's disgusting what's happening with Sam Ash on Facebook. I fell for it today. There was a sponsored post that says it was from Sam Ash with a Sam Ash URL, Sam Ash-USA, which I guess I know, thinking about it, isn't their URL. But I clicked on it because it didn't look like a fake URL, and it was a sponsored ad. It looked legit about their closeout sales. I know they're closing out. It brought up a website that looks like their website, and everything is a tenth of the price. Now, before you call me a fool for falling for this, I did go on Sam Ash's real site a few weeks ago when they announced the closure, and they did have an SC guitar at a tenth. It was a mistake on the website. So that's why I did it. I thought maybe they are about to finally close, and they are actually having a real blowout sale now. But it wasn't. It was a scam website. That is what I'm not criticizing Sam Ash. I'm criticizing Facebook. Why are they allowing Facebook to run that sponsored ad for a scam? That's really disgusting. So be careful with that stuff. I can't even think how many people fall for that stuff. Yeah, I was one of the first in my town in England to be on the internet. I was online so soon that my crappy website I made was in the local paper, the regional paper, because I had a website. You know, so I'm not, and I've got a YouTube channel. I'm not an easy person to scam at all. And I clicked on that link and I hate myself for doing it, because you must never do that. Especially like with me, if I click on if someone says we'll sponsor a video, we'll send you a program to run, that's how they get your account, even with two-factor authentication. Because it was on Facebook, I didn't feel threatened like that. But I couldn't and can't believe that they were allowing a sponsored ad that's a scam to be run on the platform. That's why that's why I felt safe. I was in Facebook. I know there's a lot of rubbish on Facebook, but when you're on Facebook on the main screen and it says sponsored ad and it says samash-usa.com, whatever, you don't feel threatened. And for that, it just takes that split second of thinking, oh, they're finally about to close the doors because of the way they worded it and the logos, and you're in. And if you click on another thing wrong and you get a virus, it can take down your whole computer. If you click, or your YouTube channel, and if you think it's real and buy something, if you go the extra step of actually buying something, you've just been scammed out of $200. That's really scary. Yeah, I can't believe this stuff is still going on in 2024. Yeah, so if you don't need it, don't buy it, because you just won't use it and it's just a waste of money. Especially in this economy right now, people are not buying anything, so you won't get your money back. So either offer a low offer where you can get your money back. That's the thing, you don't know if you're going to like it. So make a low offer where you can easily get your money back if you don't like it. And if they say no, then forget about it. Or make sure you really do need it, because otherwise you're just going to leave it on the shelf. So be wary of that. A Martin M might be consideration. I didn't get on with the M guitars. On paper, I thought it'd be ideal for me. A bigger OM, bigger sound, better look on me physically. I find the M sound. I remember I had like 3 because of the. I made a video about it. I felt like some of them were the grain was open, and I like the closed grain on the back of the neck on a Martin. I find that they can sound very loud. They can sound very good, but they have a I can't think what the word is now. They're very immediate. They're very immediate sounding, but not in a good way for me. Because they haven't got the depth of the dreadnought, but they've got the kind of, they've got the thinner depth, but the surface area of the dreadnought, the way that sound comes back at me in such an immediate way, I don't like it. There's something about the OM and the dreadnought where the sound kind of just takes a little bit longer, and I'm probably using the wrong terminology here, but there's something about the M that isn't what I thought it would be. I thought it would be a bigger OM, a bit more bass, a bit more volume, but I didn't find that. I think I found more volume. I think on one of them I thought it was too loud, which is a weird thing to say, I know, but not just that. It's the immediacy of the response to the guitar. It didn't kind of fill the room in that 3D way. It just kind of gave me like a fast, I guess I can't explain what I'm trying to say, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, is all I can really say at this point. What I expected was, like I said, a slightly louder OM with a bit more bass, which would be fantastic. That's not what I got in my, so just bear that in mind. I still like the OM and HD28. Again, same with D28. I don't like the non-scallop braces as much as I like the scalloped, I've decided. So I still think a good OM28, a good HD28 are my favorites. Agree, but not sure what you're agreeing to. Nice hanging out with you as well. Yeah, it's fun, right? We get to talk about what happened all week, what's coming out, and we get to share our experiences. Like I said, I've tried so many things, and I can't give definitive answers. Of course, all this stuff is subjective, so many people tell me they like things that I really don't like. And I can't argue with that because that's what they like. But I do have a lot of opinions. Like the thing about the M guitar, I do believe that it has more of that immediate response. Then someone might like that, but it's not what I was looking for. I was looking for a bigger OM. So I wouldn't mind trying the OM with a deeper body. Like the Maton guitars, the 808 guitars are OMs with a deeper body. I like those a lot. So. Oh, the Sam Ash thing. Yeah, that's really, really terrible. And I'd even read about it on a forum somewhere in a roundabout way. So it was even in the back of my mind. And I still clicked on that link. I thought it was a Sam Ash link. It looks so real. Played the Super D. Yeah, I have. And all the ones I played, I didn't like. Again, it's the same thing. You would think a Super D, which is a bigger dreadnought, right? You would think that would just be like the dreadnoughts I've played that I've loved, but even louder and even bigger, and that's a good thing. But I didn't find that at all. What I found was they're even more uncomfortable for me, even more so than the dreadnought is, obviously, because they're bigger guitars. They're huge. And then the ones I played, I don't know what was going on, but I played one at Rudy's in Soho. And I was just like a little bit meh, like, yeah, you know, sounds good, but you know, it's very uncomfortable. That one sounded okay. That did sound big, but I played another one in Jersey, another dealer, and it sounded really quiet. It was bizarre. So there we go. Guitars all sound different. You have to play them in person. Some small guitars can sound huge. Some huge guitars can sound small. It's really, really interesting. It's also the woods they use and the age of the strings and all that stuff. But yeah, I don't understand the Super D. And again, just because you do something, be wary of this. Like for custom shop instruments, just because you make a dreadnought even bigger, it doesn't mean it's just going to be your dreadnought, but with a louder sound and a deeper bass. And just because you make the OM bigger into an M, it doesn't mean it's going to sound like a louder OM with more bass. Everything changes when you change the box. And the wood that's being used really changes things. And the only way you know that is by playing it. Sam Ash scam. Yeah, but be careful saying that because Sam Ash are not scamming anyone. It's these scammers. So don't call it the Sam Ash scam because that implies that Sam Ash is scamming people. It's the scammers that have realized Sam Ash are closing and having sales, posting even more attractive sales on social media through a fake website to make you go to it and then give them your credit card information where they'll probably run it multiple times. So, or at least, I mean, even once is enough, right? Super D with Guatemalan Rosewood. I'm not sure. There was two, right? So I'm not sure which one that I played. But it just... Sometimes this stuff is... That's why I try not to get too excited, Jasper, about new gear. Sometimes it's simply in your mind. You have this idea of what's gonna happen, and it can never happen because you've made it into this massive deal in your head. All right, so that's the other thing. Let's see on Martin's website if they are still listing the Super D. You know what's funny now when you search for something like Martin on Google, the first thing that comes up is Sweetwater, but their marketing is outrageously good. The first thing you think when you type in Martin Guitar, you get martinguitar.com, right? But you don't. You get Sweetwater, Martin Guitar. I'll show you. That's really, really clever marketing. I know someone in New York that made it so when you type in best acoustic singer in New York, their name came up. Or it might have been Jersey or somewhere else, but you know that's how you do it. You get yourself at the top of the listing. Look at that. Very, very good. Anyway, let's go to the actual Martin Guitar website. I see they're giving away another Inception guitar on the backstage part of the website. By the way, I will say this, the backstage stuff is excellent. There's some excellent videos of Chris Martin's personal collection on that backstage. The backstage is worth signing up for. And also some excellent videos on their YouTube channel recently. Like they did the Eric Clapton guitar. And I hope they'll do the John Mayer guitar. But the social media content coming out of Martin Guitar right now is excellent. I'm very impressed. But let's go to guitars and let's see if we can find the Super Dread. Let's search for it, because I don't know. So the custom Super D, $4,000. And it says here the extra size boosts the bass. But does a dreadnought need more bass? Really? So it's only available at custom shop. So they're still making it, but it's a custom shop expert dealer order. Okay. But yeah, you just, ergonomically, you got to be careful with something like this, because some people make like Emerald make big guitars, but they put all the cutaways and things in them to make them more palatable, if that's the right word. But the Super D is just such a big box, to hold. So I probably should play one. If I played a Super D, it would look like a normal size guitar on me. Honestly, it would. But I want a cutaway. I want something that feels smaller. So. All right. Any more questions? It's 5:20. I'll go for another 10 minutes. Sweetwater has paid for the listing. It says sponsored next to it. Martin will be one of the keywords they are paying for. Yeah, I do know that. It always impresses me. It always impresses me every time, because it's. Oh. Now this time it didn't come up. This time it came up Martin Guitar website. Maybe I don't know. I guess when you sponsor an ad like that, it only comes up one time. I'm so confused. But anyway, it does come up at the top, of course. Russo Music, Sweetwater. Now it doesn't come up. Now it comes up with the company site. So I don't know. But it happens all the time. You type in a product and it comes up with their site first, which is very, very smart of them to do. You're right. It's a sponsored ad. They're spending money on having those ads come up. They call it search engine optimization. It's a very important thing. So it's also important, like wherever you live, you should. I don't do it, but I should do. Like wherever you live in the world, you should make it so when someone types those words in, you come up first if you can. It's probably worth the investment. So if you live in Cardiff, best singer guitarist Cardiff, you want to come up with your website first, because they often get the bookings. I follow Martin on Instagram and find the marketing horrible. All style, no substance. Haven't heard. I know what you mean. Like, I don't like when they had things like the factory and had electric guitars in the background playing the music. Some of it is a bit kind of like cool for school stuff. I get it. But I will say the backstage program content is excellent. Like, they've got 4 or 5 videos already up there of Chris Martin's personal collection guitars, which are really interesting videos. I think it's worth paying for. And then if you're a fan. And then on the YouTube channel, the content has really come up as well. They're really making an effort, and I think it's really good. But I get your point about some of the ads, kind of being I can't think what the word is. I want to say trendy, or I can't think what the word is. I get that, but the actual content they're releasing is really, really good. As a fan, I really enjoy it. Haven't heard a rant yet in 24. There's been a couple. Agreeing with gigging out the guitar you like to play. Yeah. And that might be because it was a family member's guitar. It might just be a guitar you think sounds the best. It might be a guitar that's a stage guitar that inspires you. Like, that's the thing with the Cole Clark system. It inspires me. because it is so percussive and it's so easy to use the controls on stage. That makes me feel more inspired to play. So I may not have the emotional connection to the guitar that your friend has to their D45, but it enables me to perform the way I want to perform, and that's really important to me. Martin also has a German website. Yeah, and they sometimes list stuff on there that isn't on the American website, and sometimes you get like leaks and stuff on there too. One guitar store owner worked out an arrangement with a dress shop next door where a female customer could bring guitars and check appearance in front of the full-length mirrors. Interesting. Yeah, guitar. That's a good point, isn't it? Guitar stores don't tend to have mirrors to see how you look in the mirror. I guess how you look with the guitar is important. That's an interesting point. Does anyone here think about that? Like, do you care and think about how you look when you're playing the guitar? I don't know how many people watching this right now are performers. I was going to do a poll to ask people who here is actually, like, are you playing gigs full time? Are you playing gigs part time? Are you playing casual, like open mic, or are you not playing out at all? I was going to do that as a poll, but that's a good point. Like, does that factor in at all? Like how you look? I mean, there was a time I wanted to be seen playing a Martin. That seems silly to me now. Like the headstock, the name on the headstock gives you some kind of extra sauce somehow. It doesn't, right? But there were a lot of people at gigs that would say to me, "Oh, you're playing a Martin." Many people would say, "Why are you playing a Martin? Why isn't that at home? It's a Martin as well." So you will get that, and you get that less with some of the lesser known guitars, because so people do buy into that. Both performers and audience members do buy into that whole legacy thing for sure. It can be important, but also the look of the guitar. Like, do you factor in how you look when you hold it? Does it look too big? Does it look too small? I was messing around with my strap the other day, and it's got some excess hanging off the end that looks silly, like it's hanging down like a tail. So I was thinking I should cut that off. So yeah, I think it's important. I think visuals are as important, or they're definitely almost as important for me as how it sounds, because people are watching the performance as well as listening to it. But I wonder how much other people factor that stuff in. So yeah, I'm really about the sound. I'm really about the tone, and I'm not going to say, like, I was gigging yesterday with the Cole Clark and had some EQ running through it to make it sound even better. Does it sound like the perfect tone? No. But it sounds probably the best of all the tones I've heard. And it's not just about that. It's also about other factors, like things like battery life, controls, tweakability. And then if you want those percussive sounds, that definitely has the best percussive sounds. If you don't want percussive sounds, it might not be right for you, because it can just add noise. I've said that before. So that's why the Maton system is good. It has less of that percussive sound, so it's a bit of a cleaner sound, but it lacks some of the mic-like qualities that the face sensor pickup has. So I still haven't found a perfect system. I probably never will, and I want to stop thinking that I will, because even if the new bag system sounds more natural, I don't believe it'll have that power and dynamics that the Cole Clark system has, because of the three pickups working together. So at that point, I have to make a decision. Do I want to switch to a guitar with a system that is more natural, which will sound better recorded and in my in-ears? Or do I want to stick with the Cole Clark that has more of that meat and power behind it? And I suspect I'll stick with that, because that's important as well. Or have both, of course. Have a Martin with the new bag system, and have the Cole Clark with the system built in for shows. I don't know, but there is no perfect, is what I'm trying to say. I have trouble with flashy, sparkly guitars. Don't think the guitar should be the main focus when performing. Yeah, I have mixed feelings. I like it and I don't. It can look great. I wouldn't mind a guitar with my name on the neck of the guitar in abalone, honestly. I wouldn't, as a performer. I want people to remember who I am. So I actually wouldn't mind a guitar like that. But they do take longer to make. They do cost more money. And I think it depends on the guitar itself. So I've gone back and forth. I've had 40 series guitars that I really liked initially, and then I've decided I wanted something more simple. I've had simple guitars that I felt looked too simple, and that's why one of my favorite things was something like the John Mayer with the abalone rosettes and the trim around the bridge and the headstock, and that's it. Really nice middle ground, modern but classy, not too much, not too little. That's probably my favorite looking guitar for that reason. So that's why I like now like a standard guitar, but with the abalone around the sound hole. Some of the Cole Clark Series 2 guitars do have the abalone around the sound hole, like the Sunburst ones have that. In fact, I'll just show it to you now to finish up. Guitars.com, which is the best URL to have ever for a guitar store. They just got some new guitars in. So we've got 8 here. I think they had 9. They might have sold one. Not sure. But your Angel 2 Blackwood is now $2,400. I don't like Groon's pictures at all. The guitars don't look... I bought a couple of guitars from Groon, Cole Clark's. They look nothing like these pictures. These pictures are overexposed and blown out. The guitar in person will look way better. And they also don't put the weight either, which I don't like. They should do that, in my opinion. But just to show you, that is $2,400. The Sunburst, which I didn't realize this, they've got a really nice looking sun. So this is called the Sap Line. I love that. Sap Line. And you see abalone around a sound hole. So this is $3,300. Almost $1,000 more. You're paying for the Sunburst. Martin charged for a Sunburst too. And you're also paying for the abalone around the sound hole. But, I mean, I think it looks amazing. This guitar would be amazing with Evo Gold fret wire on the frets. That would be great on that guitar. But I'm not a huge Sunburst fan. So I like the plain ones. These ones are a bit too plain for me. And then here's a 3. So $4,000 for the 3. So you've got way more abalone, especially on the fretboard. That is a higher grade piece of wood. Visually, you got the Sap Line down the middle and a more interesting piece of wood. And then, like I said, the tuners, or also ebony fretboard, which is quite nice. And then the tuners are these more expensive tuners. I think the look goes well with the guitar, but I prefer the regular tuners on the 2 because of the ratio myself. That's a personal preference. So yeah, interesting. But yeah, at the end of the day, they're all the same guitar. At the end of the day, you're paying for the look, aren't you? And the materials used. But I thought that was interesting that they have new stock, which is a good thing. I just really, really wish that Sweetwater would stock them, because then I could send people there with the affiliate links, and their pictures would be better, and they also would list the weight of the guitar. So if you ever speak to Sweetwater, do ask them to stock Cole Clark guitars. I asked them to, they never got back to me. But I really do believe that they should do. All right, let's wrap things up. So Danielle does not want flashy, sparkly guitars on stage because it takes away from the performer. Okay, I get that. Unless you dress up even more than the guitar, of course. Back to Back wants to look cool on stage. Yeah, I agree to an extent. The look of the guitar matters. The look of the person probably matters more. Like, you want to look presentable and have an image, right? Etc. Rex says, hard not to remember an artist like Dickerson with his name on the fretboard. Yeah, I like that. The old country stars that had their name on the fretboard. I considered it for a while. It'd be easier if your name was like Will Starr or something. That'd be easier, wouldn't it? Like Aaron Short is a long name to put on the fretboard. But I like the idea of it. I like the idea of just getting that into the audience's head. I mean, nowadays people have these big signs behind them. You can buy a sign online with your name and your QR code and your website, and your name is on that. So you don't really need it on the guitar. But I do think it's cheesy and it's cool on the guitar. The look of the guitar is important, but I think the look of the person, the state, everything, right? Are your cables messy? Does the gear look neat and clean? Are you presentable? Is there something about your act that is memorable? Like there was a person in where I grew up in England called the Hat Man. He wore different hats. He kept changing the hat he had on. That was his thing. So I do think it helps to have something like that. That's why years ago it was good. I was the tall guy with the small guitar. That was my thing back then. And it worked. You know, people would remember me. And of course, if they call the venue, you want them to be able to say something like, when is that tall guy with the small guitar playing again? Sounds funny to say it out loud, but it helps. These days, I'm the tall guy with a British accent in America. That helps too. As crazy as it may sound, years back I played a very sexy looking Schecter C1 electric. I don't want a guitar to be sexier than me. Fair enough. All right, let's wrap things up. It's 5:35. It's been great as always. Always great to be here. I'm just going to tell you my schedule for the rest of the month. There is a week I'll be away. So next week I'll be here. The following week I will not. I'll cancel that week. It's my birthday week. And the week after that, I'll be back again. So I will be here next week. So once again, just double check you are subscribed and the bell is rung. I'll appreciate it. And tell your friends about this if they want to join in, if they're into guitars and things. Have a great week. Have a great week. Keep your eye out on the channel for some videos coming this month. A few things in the pipeline. And take care and be well. Enjoy your week. Enjoy the sunny weather if you're lucky like I am. I finally got some sun, and it's nice to have. All right, take care and be well. Thanks for your time. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Six-string today, vintage wood, shiny frets, strumming blues while the sun fades. All these guitars, can't help myself. Why can't I quit this ever-growing need? Oh man, goddamn, bought another six-string today, vintage wood, shiny frets, strumming blues while the sun fades. All these guitars, can't help myself. Why can't I quit this ever-growing need? Sneaking inside, just another piece of art, a new love to find. Strings humming with a history, each one with a tale. From the first touch of the strings, my soul sets sail. I see the look in her eyes, another roll of the dice. But in those studio lights, it's worth every price. I tell her it's the last one, just another fling, but the music calls my name with every shiny string. Oh man, goddamn, bought another 6-string today. Vintage wood, shiny frets, strumming blues while the sun fades. All these guitars can't help myself. Why can't I quit this ever-growing need? Oh man, goddamn, bought another 6-string today.